Dog, yeah. Strong arm robbery the strong way. Let me get that shit the strong.
Are facing charges in connection to crimes in 4 states.
Katie Lusso is on that story for us. And Katie, we understand these are some pretty serious allegations, from armed carjackings to even money laundering.
They certainly are, and police tonight believe this violent crime ring, as they called them, committed 9 armed robberies over the course of a year up and down the East Coast. Their target, Asian-owned jewelry stores. Investigators say the majority of getaway vehicles they used were stolen.
Last fall, some of the defendants committed a violent carjacking in Maryland, and they used the stolen vehicle as a getaway vehicle during one of the robberies.
The 16 people indicted range from 21 to 45 years old. Investigators say they found 7 guns, including a machine gun, and $300,000 in a safe when they made the arrests.
Police in D.C. just dropped a shocking update that's shaking the city to its core. The man behind the so-called jewelry heist Avengers has finally been sentenced, closing the chapter on one of the boldest crime sprees in recent memory. He wasn't just any suspect. He was the final piece of a 16-person crew that pulled off a string of high-speed, high-stakes jewelry robberies that left business owners terrified and the public stunned. According to reports, these robberies targeted 9 different jewelry stores, most of them Asian-owned small businesses that had built up their reputations through years of hard work. The crew hit shops in 4 different states, moving fast, vanishing before anyone could even figure out what was happening. The scale of it all is unbelievable.
Hi everyone, it's Judge Janine. Trevor Anthony Wright may not be a name that you're familiar with, but Taliban Glizzy may be. He's a DC rapper who has now been sentenced as a result of a prosecution by my office to 219 months in jail, which is a little over 18 years. He was charged with robberies of various jewelry stores up and down the eastern seaboard from Florida to New Jersey. He and his crew would go into these jewelry stores with sledgehammers and guns and all kinds of things and break up cases, threaten employees, and he stole about $3.2 million in jewelry. So here's the good news. You don't have to worry about these kinds of robberies anymore, and you don't have to worry about Taliban Glizzy anymore, because he won't be around for a good 18 years.
Millions of dollars worth of gold, diamonds, and designer pieces are still missing, and authorities admit they might never recover it all. Detectives have been working non-stop to piece together how this crew operated, and what's come out is straight out of a movie script. They coordinated their hits with military-like precision, switching cars, changing looks, and always staying one step ahead of the law. But their luck finally ran out when one small mistake connected everything back to a single name. A local rapper who was known for his flashy lifestyle and lyrics about getting it by any means. Now, in the second week of 2026, the DC District Attorney says that this same rapper wasn't just a participant, he was allegedly the mastermind who planned it all. Fans are in shock, the city's buzzing with rumors, and everyone's wondering, how did a rising music star turn into the brains behind one of DC's biggest jewelry heists ever?
The relationship in total, because I was processing while I was in it, there was a lot of things. Of course, neither of us were perfect in the relationship, but there was a lot of things that were happening to me. So I think I had more time to detach myself from that relationship. And for him, I think it feels like that's just happening for him.
The last man has finally taken responsibility for his part in the wild string of jewelry store robberies that rocked the entire East Coast. When that indictment first dropped, we already broke it all down to the tiniest detail. Every move, every charge, every surprise twist. You can still check that breakdown linked in the bio. But here's the part we didn't really dive into.
Nah, for real, they act like they had any call that little ass bit of time, man. I'm rich as shit. They don't give a fuck about doing those damn years.
His co-defendants. There were a few key players in this operation, but one name stood out more than the rest. A local rapper who was right in the mix, but somehow never got charged. That twist left everyone asking how he managed to walk free while the rest of the crew faced serious time. That same local rapper could never be charged because sadly, he lost his life after a high-speed chase tied to one of the jewelry store robberies in New Jersey. The chaos that day still has people talking.
Tell him you miss him. Do you see you guys rekindling things when he gets out? I don't know how Taliban is, so I won't pretend that I do. I hear that he's okay. We don't speak. I think that I had a lot of time to process what went wrong in our relationship and process.
Later, police confirmed his identity and the community came together to pay their respects to someone many say had real star potential. In the DMV, he was said to be even more well-known than Taliban G. Lizzy. the man prosecutors claim was the true mastermind behind the entire operation. This rapper's story hit hard because it felt like a tragedy in the making. A young man who moved from Florida to DC at a young age, chasing dreams and building buzz through his raw talent and powerful lyrics. People in his circle swore he had what it took to make it big in music.
Yeah, the buff.
Oh, for real, they act like they had in and caught that little ass bit of time, man. I'm rich as shit. I don't give a fuck about doing those damn years.
Yeah, the motherfucking secret.
Wild wild senses ain't stopping nothing, man. I'm still having fun, man. Niggas still getting money, still fucking bitches, still getting niggas blew up, you hear me? This shit ain't stopping nothing by locking me up, you hear me?
Ain't no motherfucking secret, you hear me? You know, shit like that, you hear me? You know, we adopt our habitats, man.
But somewhere along the way, the streets pulled him back in, and that dangerous lifestyle ended up cutting his rise short far too soon. Now that everyone tied to this wild indictment has been sentenced, it's only right to finally break it all down and share the full story.
They gotta put a nigga like me under this deal to stop me, you hear me?
Ain't no motherfucking secret, Slim, you hear me?
I ain't a nigga gotta release me.
Who you telling?
Ain't no sucker shit.
Ain't no motherfucking secret.
Ain't nothing, no interrogation, no pillow talking, no bitch, none of that shit.
It's time to look at everything from start to finish. Who the main suspect was, how he ended up becoming both a suspect and a victim, and what his true role in this massive case really looked like. We're digging into the official paperwork, the black and white details that show exactly how each move went down. We'll also take a closer look at every suspect and co-defendant, how they connected to each other, and what parts they played in pulling off one of the most talked about jewelry heists on the East Coast. And just when you think it's over, there's more. The alleged mastermind himself recently got sentenced and even made a phone call home that had people buzzing.
AKA walk up, AKA no mask, AKA Knucklehead. They call me Knucklehead. You know what I'm saying?
So look, man, I saw that you moved from Florida to Maryland. I seen in the interview you said I guess a situation happened that led you to get on the plane and head up to the DMV. Like what was the actual situation though that went down that caused you to move?
Shit, like I was 9 years old and shit. School, I was in school and shit. Pretty much, I wasn't listening to my mom. You know, when a female trying to raise a young nigga or a man, that's something a father figure I had to do. So my mom being a female, she couldn't really do it. She tried though. So she like, nigga, you going with your dad, nigga. Yeah.
What he said in that call might just change how people see this entire case. Before we dive deep into this one, let's get something straight. I'm not here to push an angle or twist the facts. I'm just here to give you the story straight up, exactly how it went down. Everything you're about to hear is based on what's been uncovered through reports, official records, and eyewitness accounts, so you can decide for yourself what to believe. This case has layers, fame, fast money, loyalty, betrayal, and tragedy all rolled into one. It's the kind of story that sounds like a movie, but every part of it happened for real, and it's got the whole DMV scene talking nonstop. So before we get into the wild details, take a second to make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the updates when more pieces of this puzzle drop.
Yeah. So look, did you know your dad before you actually got on the plane though?
Nah, fuck no, I ain't even know dog. Like, I ain't even never seen dog or nothing. Dog used to send me rockets, shoes and shit. Like, he wasn't no dead beat though. Like, I just ain't know, she ain't let me know. I was calling somebody else my dad.
We're about to jump right into it. The players, the plans, the drama, and the downfall. Every twist in this case says something bigger about chasing fame and the risks that come with living fast. So buckle up, because once we start breaking it down, you'll see why this story had everyone glued to their screens. So as you can see, things were already getting petty between everyone involved. Tension was rising fast. If you want a full deep dive into the Ban Lizzy indictment, make sure to hit that link in the bio and check out the previous video where we broke every detail down piece by piece.
Dang, so like describe the feeling though when you first actually like met your dad though, like how was that?
Shit, first thing I did, nigga asked me, was like, Mom, I got off the plane, I'm by myself too. He got off the plane, I'm like, he like, you home? I'm like, yeah. Nigga don't look like me nothing. He big, fat, black nigga like,
yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I ain't my dad, is he tripping? So he's like, you home? I'm like, yeah. That nigga went and took me about like 3 boxes a piece. So I don't know how to fucking get all this shit by myself, yeah.
So when you first met your dad, like you didn't think that was your dad or what?
Hell no, I didn't think that was my dad. But I go home, I start looking for shit. Like say you got a son, you start looking for shit. Your son do to let you know, yeah, that's my son. Like me, I go to sleep when I laying down. I just have my arm out there cooling real quick. Man, I walk past, go to the bathroom, I seen this nigga doing the same shit. I'm like, yeah, that's my dad.
Yeah. So have y'all been able to form like a bond though since you've been back, or?
Nah, my daddy gone. He deceased real quick.
Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah, he gone. He died in 2010.
Do you want to speak on like what happened with that?
He had like 3 heart attacks real quick.
3 heart attacks?
Yeah, 3 heart attacks right back to back. And when nobody in the house. And he had him in there by himself.
Yeah. So look though, being that you from Florida, are you still connected out there or what? Like, do you go back and visit, or you stay in touch, or what? What's going on?
Yeah. That's like, yeah.
How often you go back to Florida?
Yeah. See, right now, I'm in the system real quick, like, so it's gonna be hard for me real quick. But I don't go like I used to go every summer. I was in school and shit, but now I ain't in school.
But from this point on, this video's got a different focus. This one's dedicated to the man who would have been indicted if he hadn't sadly lost his life before things even reached the courtroom. His name was Joshua Matthew, a devoted dad and a rising rapper loved by many across the DMV. On stage, he went by the name Knucklehead Time Fly, a name fans still remember with respect and emotion. Knucklehead made headlines nearly a decade ago when he dropped a freestyle over the track 51 Nights, and that performance took off fast, hitting over 500,000 views and still counting. His flow was raw, his energy was real, and it looked like he was on the path to something huge before tragedy changed everything. About 5 years ago, Knucklehead sat down for an interview with Big Mouth Media, opening up in a rare and honest conversation that showed a whole different side of him. He talked about the struggles he faced growing up, including being in and out of jail at a young age, and how those experiences shaped him into the person he became. It wasn't just another rapper story. It was raw, real, and emotional.
When shit going on, or when the nigga get to missing it, nigga slide back down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So look, so your relationship with your mother though, how has that played out, being that you kind of like, since you moved from Florida to the DMV, like, have y'all been able to stay strong, or like, how's that relationship?
Shit cool, you feel me? See, coming up, when I was a little nigga, I ain't look at life how I look at life right now. Cause right now, I'm a parent my goddamn self. So, all the conniving shit a nigga used to do, they ain't really, you know what I'm saying?
Congratulations, man. How many times you been locked up before?
Locked up with that, but really sat down real quick.
2 times? So look, this last time, what was the reason you got locked up?
Man, every fucking time I go to jail for a goddamn gun.
So what made you want to just like really just cop the deal instead of actually fighting it though? Like, I know you said somebody told, but like you didn't think you had no chance of actually beating it, or?
Hell no. Hell no. And it was a fucking high speed chase.
Oh, you took them on a high speed chase?
Hell yeah. You thought I was finna, man, okay, I like to hit at their ass, shit. And I said, nah, they got goddamn, it's 3 cars, trucks, shit. Nah, they got more bullets than me. Fuck no.
So look though, how long did the chase last?
Shit, if you familiar with the city, the shit started over there on Heddenburg, off of there by the Wendy's shit, and wind up catching the nigga over there southwest. Yeah, over there by the what's that? Soccer stadium. Over there around the corner from the stadium and them houses and shit over there.
Yeah. So what was you actually thinking though when you was taking them on the chase though? Did you think you was gonna get away, or you kind of just like were just trying to get low, like you weren't really thinking?
Fuck that, I just wanted to get far away enough so I could get this off.
Yeah.
He shared that he moved to the DMV area when he was just 9 years old, coming all the way from Florida after his mom decided she'd had enough of the chaos and wanted to give him a better shot at life. She wanted him to have some proper guidance from his dad, someone he had never even met in person before. That move was supposed to be a turning point, a chance for a fresh start, but as he admitted in the interview, life didn't make that road easy. As you can tell, Knucklehead was no stranger to run-ins with the law. He'd been through chases before, speeding away from police more than once. The adrenaline, the danger, the constant pressure, it was all part of the lifestyle he'd gotten caught up in. But sadly, that same fast life is what ended up taking everything from him. This time though, things went down differently. He wasn't even the driver. According to the official indictment, one of the 9 jewelry store robberies connected to Taliban Lizzy and his crew of 16 co-defendants took place on December 22, 2022. That date marked one of the most chaotic heists in the entire string of crimes. Investigators say the group had been planning it for weeks, watching the store, mapping out escape routes, and preparing to move fast once things kicked off. When it all went down, Knucklehead was reportedly inside the getaway vehicle, caught in the middle of the madness as the crew tried to flee after the robbery. Police were already on alert from similar hits in nearby cities, so they reacted fast, chasing the suspects through multiple streets. The scene turned intense in seconds, flashing lights, sirens, and screeching tires cutting through the night said even though Knucklehead wasn't behind the wheel that night, fate had other plans. What started as just another robbery and a string of big hits ended up being the one that changed everything. The moment that took away someone who once had a shot at making it out of the streets for good. The jewelry store hit that day was located in Franklin Park, New Jersey, and it went by the name Sentiments Incorporated, a small family-run business that became the crew's next big target. Now remember, fam, these robbers had a specific pattern. They went after Asian-owned jewelry stores, and there was a reason for that. See, those stores often deal in high-purity gold, usually between 22 carats and 24 carats, which is a lot more valuable than the standard jewelry sold in most U.S. shops that's typically around $10,000 to $14,000. That difference in purity makes a huge difference in profit. The higher the purity, the greater the melt value, meaning buyers who refine or resell the gold lose less money in the process. They didn't need fancy brand names or luxury logos. All they cared about was weight and purity. This particular robbery turned out to be one of the boldest and most dangerous of their whole spree. It was the second to last armed heist the crew pulled off before everything started to fall apart. Right after this job, chaos broke out. They split up, ditched their stolen getaway vehicles, and tried to disappear before law enforcement could close in. But by then, police were already tracking patterns, and that one decision would soon lead to the downfall of the entire operation. The stolen Dodge Charger that police were chasing that night was being driven by a Maryland resident named Franklin Hunter, a 32-year-old man who was already known to authorities for previous run-ins with the law. According to official reports, Franklin was behind the wheel during the chaotic getaway after the Franklin Park jewelry store robbery, and what happened next turned the whole situation into pure chaos. As police closed in, Franklin, who was known on the streets by his nickname Gina, hit the gas and took off at an extremely high speed. Witnesses said the car was flying down the road, weaving through traffic and refusing to stop even as patrol cars surrounded the area. Prosecutors later described the scene as a multi-vehicle crash with multiple cars involved after the Charger lost control and smashed during the desperate attempt to escape. Investigators say the crash site looked like something straight out of an action movie. Metal twisted, sirens blaring, and police trying to piece together what just happened. Franklin's decision to flee not only ended in disaster, but also became a key turning point in the case, revealing connections between him, Knucklehead, and the rest of the crew involved in the jewelry heists. What was supposed to be a clean getaway ended up exposing everything they've been trying to hide. During that chaotic chase, Franklin's Dodge Charger slammed into 3 other vehicles, turning the entire scene into a tragic disaster. Sadly, Joshua Matthew, better known by his rap name Knucklehead, was sitting in the passenger seat at the time of the crash. He was only 31 years old, a Washington, D.C. native whose talent had once promised a bright future. When first responders arrived, Joshua was found inside the wrecked Charger, and tragically, he didn't make it. May he rest in peace, and much love and condolences go out to his family, friends, and everyone who ever supported him. Reports say that while Joshua's life ended that night, the chaos didn't stop there. Other people inside the Charger reportedly jumped out and fled the scene, with help from nearby associates who were waiting close by. Authorities say that moment created total confusion, as police scrambled to secure the crash site, while others slipped away in the dark. It was the heartbreaking end of a story that could have gone so differently. The people who were inside the other vehicles caught in that devastating crash were rushed to a local hospital right away for treatment after suffering multiple injuries. It was a chaotic scene. Flashing lights, sirens everywhere, and officers trying to control the wreck while figuring out what had just unfolded. At the time, police didn't release many details to the public. All they said was that the suspects had been fleeing from an armed robbery moments before the crash took place. For months, the situation remained a mystery. No one outside the investigation really knew who had been behind the wheel that night. Then, nearly 2 years later, the truth finally came out. In February 2024, authorities confirmed that Franklin Hunter, the same man known on the streets as Gina, had been identified as the driver of the stolen Dodge Charger during that deadly chase. His arrest connected all the dots that had been left hanging since the night of the crash, finally revealing just how deep this case really went. That official indictment laid out all the chilling details we just went over, connecting every piece of the puzzle once and for all. What made it even more shocking was that Franklin Hunter ended up being charged in connection with his own friend's death, the same tragedy that had rocked the community nearly 2 years earlier. It was a heartbreaking twist no one saw coming. Prosecutors hit Franklin with a long list of serious charges, including first-degree aggravated manslaughter, second-degree vehicular homicide, and second-degree leaving the scene of a motor vehicle accident resulting in death, along with several other related offenses. The paperwork painted a grim picture of a chase gone horribly wrong, where one reckless decision led to a loss that can never be undone. Authorities said the evidence was undeniable, and this time there would be no running from what happened that night. In the end, it was a heartbreaking loss for Joshua's family, but at the same time, his passing meant he avoided being indicted in the massive case that followed. After his death, the crew tried to pull off one last run in January 2023, but that final job turned out to be their downfall. It was the end of the road for what prosecutors later called the jewelry heist Avengers, a crew that had left investigators chasing trails across multiple states for nearly a year. According to the district attorney's office, the group was responsible for 9 different robberies across 9 stores in just 12 months, raking in millions worth of high-purity gold and jewels before it all came crashing down. Now, with everyone either caught or gone, the last surviving member of the crew has been sentenced to 18 years behind bars. It's a wild and tragic story from start to finish. Fame, money, and fast moves that all ended in loss, leaving behind nothing but broken dreams and a long trail of consequences. Behind the scenes of this entire story was another heartbreaking truth: the loss of a local rapper who lost his life while trying to flee from one of these intense jewelry heists. It's a tragic reminder of how fast things can spiral when the streets pull people into something bigger than they can control. What started as a mission for fast money and fame ended up costing a life, leaving families grieving and the city still talking about what went wrong. It's a tough situation all around, and nobody truly wins in the end. Once again, sending love, respect, and deep condolences to the victim's family and everyone who cared for him. His name and his music still live on in the hearts of those who knew what he stood for. If you've been following this story, let me know what you think about it in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more updates and breakdowns like this one. See you in the next one.